Okay, hello. I'm going to be introducing Cities of Death, and I'm going to be covering three main things. First of all, the cutting. I'm going to just explain that very briefly. The cutting of the baseboard, and then the making of rubble piles, and then the finishing touches to the actual building. So I'm just going to start by briefly explaining the cutting out of the base. Okay, so as you can see, this isn't the board I use to base my buildings, but it'll just have to do. So anyway, I just bought this saw. You can just get this at any hardware store, Home Pro or Homeworks. I don't know, whatever brand you have in your area. Just get a saw. Coping saw is the best. You can tell a coping saw because it's hollow around here and it has big teeth. So this isn't like world's greatest saw or anything, but it does well, it does fine. And then you get the board. I based my cities on MDF. MDF is artificial board and it's really cheap and really easy to work with, and it's also very strong and sturdy. And you have sandpaper, which you can also buy in your hardware or home working store, and I just use that to smooth down the edges. So when you're measuring and cutting out, you make sure you want to cut just a bit over the edge so that you still have space to sand it off and to make it smooth. Okay, as you can see, this is not a Cities of Death thing. It's in fact a Valkyrie, an Imperial Guard Valkyrie. It's not mine, it's my friend's. But since I've already done all the rubble piles, done them all up with the buildings, and I have nothing to demonstrate with, I'm just going to make a little scenic base for this Valkyrie here. Just pull that off. And as you can see, I've already made the base. It's just a little ruined corner of a balcony piece, and this magic stuff is absolutely fantastic for the rubble piles. I'll just show you a demonstrated example. Hold on. And this is the building. Over here you see they're very natural looking, and you can like sweep them into corners or edges like that. And as you can see over here, and that is where rubble and dust would normally accumulate, in corners and edges, so keep that in mind when you're making the rubble piles. And also you can just brush it over all the big details, give it a crusty crusty effect, yeah. And and you're also going to need a knife for spreading it around. And this is wood filler. It's sandable, cuttable, and it's also, I found it in the hardware store. And I'm not completely sure what it's for. I'm pretty sure it's for filling in cracks in walls and stuff like that. And it can be painted, it can be spray painted, everything can be done with it. This is almost empty, but it's okay. I'm just making a little rubble pile here. So I'll just get a close up. Okay, so I'm just going to take the knife and scoop some of the wood filler up. It's almost dry. Probably not a very good example. I don't know if it'll work very well. And I don't think it's toxic or anything. I mean, I've touched it. I haven't grown a tail or anything, so I'm pretty sure it's okay to use. And you might want to use some other tools to just get it off into the corner there. A palette knife would be even better than a knife, but I don't have any, so the knife works just as well. Don't eat it, obviously, but you know, it's okay to touch. This is unfortunately going to be a very small one, since I don't have very much left. It's only for the point. This is for the purpose of demonstration, and because I feel like I should do my friend a favor. So there it is. Kind of measly, but as you can see, it really does get swept in You can just smooth it out, and you can flick it up, put your knife in there and flick it up to get textures. Now, with my Cities of Death, I covered these with rock and rubble and stuff, but they would look even better just exposed like that. I mean, well, not even better, but they would look just as good, depending on your taste. I prefer them to be covered in rubble. I think it looks more realistic. But with the really small ones, really small rubble piles, I can leave it just like that, without having to cover it with rubble. I'll just show you an example. Here. This is an already done building, painted and everything. I'll show that in more detail later, but up here, as you can see, there is a rubble pile. But without putting rubble on it, like that pile, that's also wood filler and covered with rubble. But if you don't put rubble on it, then it can just pass for like a dust pile or dirt pile instead of rubble. So now I'll move on to the third